Hi there, Larry. Thank you so much for taking some time to come on in and take part in these interviews for our board election for 2024. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. Why don't we go ahead and kick things off by telling us a little bit about yourself, what neighborhood you live in, and any clubs or groups that you participate in.
My wife Byron and I have been here 11 years. We live in Windmill Glen, which is right down at the end of the driveway from the Lakehouse. Clubs, I belong to the men's club. I'm very active in trying to help the social club to find new avenues and approach. I'm a host for the Lakehouse Live. I try to stay active in all parts of Sweetgrass. I have ever since I moved in.
Wonderful, Larry. Thank you. What do you say we dive right into these questions?
Sure.
All right. So question number one, what motivated you to rerun for the HOA board?
I don't think that we're done with all that we can do with Sweetgrass. I think we have got a good start. I encourage people to remember where we were before we became our own HOA and the improvements that we've made since then. And I believe that we have a lot more things. I think we can improve on the way our lifestyle. We're just starting to get into what I call the impact of lifestyle. I think it can be bigger. Lakehouse Live has brought us to a new element. The karaoke nights. We're seeing that to where there's more and more growth. And I believe that I can bring new ideas. I can bring my 11 years of experience of I was on finance board for 7 years. I was asked to be on the transition committee. I have served on the board 2 terms, and I just think that there's more to be done. And I was told a long time ago by my mom, you've got gifts, use them. And that's why I'm running.
All right. Thank you, Larry. Next question. What experience do you have that you believe will benefit our community?
Well, I'll go back and say, first of all, I've been on the finance committee. There's 7 years off and on. And of that 7 years, 5 years of that, I was the chair of the finance committee. And then on the transition committee, I dug all the financials out and gave them to the transition committee. And as we went through, we developed that part of where we came from. Where did Sweetgrass come from? And then from there, being on the board, and I've been the treasurer for the last 3 years. And I believe that where we're at is I've got the experience. And I basically, to say it this way, I know where all the skeletons are. And I can go back and look at notes. My wife will tell you, I have way too many notes and files, but I just never get to put them on the computer because I enjoy being at the lake house. I enjoy being around Sweetgrass and enjoy particularly the residents of Sweetgrass.
Thank you. Next question. How familiar are you with the current bylaws, rules, and regulations of our HOA?
I've been working with them now for probably 5 years. I won't say I have them memorized. I know where to go get them. And last but not least, if I don't know where they are, I can ask Kelly.
Next question. How much time are you able to commit to your role as an HOA board member?
Right now, I average somewhere between 15 and 20 hours a week as a board member. Some weeks it's more. This past week, it has been already, today's Thursday, I've got 29 hours in. So it's a priority for me. Once again, I believe that we need to keep things moving and moving in a positive way. And the only way to do that is to be active.
All right. All right. So your next question. Oh, this one I think we touched on a little bit on. Have you served on an HOA board before? And if so, what was your experience?
Well, you really don't want me to tell you my experiences. But yes, I've served here 3 years. I served on another HOA board in Pearland. I think the experiences on a serious level is that we've always come to a point of where the board up to this point, and I would say that the next board needs to follow some kind of a format basis. We never had a time or a subject or an item that we did not give full attention to until there was a unanimous agreement on what we were going to do, whether the final decision was negative or positive, but there was investment of what was best for the residents, not for the board, but for the residents.
Thank you. Next question. How would you ensure that your actions as a board member are aligned with the overall needs of the community rather than pursuing a specific personal agenda or goal, or the goal of a particular club or group?
Stephen, you've heard me say it more than once. I'm anti-agendas. I believe that people can have agendas off the board. The board has got to be neutral. Our job is to take and whatever is given to us to look at, to deal with, or to approve, we must be neutral and build on the facts as they are presented. Now, if they're not presented properly, then I think it's also if we know better, we need to go dig till we get facts and then make decisions based on that. But never should a board have anything to do with an agenda.
Thank you. Next question. How do you approach conflict resolution, especially when dealing with disagreements among residents or board members?
I have spent probably the last 50 years in either managing people or managing businesses. I've owned my own businesses for 37 years. And before that, I was with the world's largest financially based family company for 28 years. I retired from there. And one of the things that I was taught was there's no problem that you can't fix if you will just stop and listen. We have to listen to what the other person's point of view is. If you're talking and trying to convince them of your point of view, you will never know how to solve their situation or use their situation to build on. They may have the answer you've been looking for a long time.
Thank you. Next question. What role do you see yourself playing on the board?
What I'd like to do is to continue being the treasurer. As I stated earlier, I've been involved in the financial side of Sweetgrass since I moved here. I was here 3 months before Amy Northworthy asked me to join the finance committee and sit in. I believe I know most of what's needed as far as that item goes. The other thing is that I have been for 26 years now a certified manager and consultant for debt counseling for Dave Ramsey. And what that has taught me is there's always going to be a need. So when we're looking at it, I believe that we can take each individual's needs. We can't put everybody in the same boat. The boat's not big enough, number one. And number two, not everybody can be in a boat, but not everybody can swim. And so we have to be protective of that and conscious of that. And by doing that, I think we can make, once again, Sweetgrass better.
Thank you. Next question. How would you handle a situation where a board decision you supported was unpopular with a significant portion of the community?
We've actually had that happen. And when we've had that happen, what we've done is somebody, and sometimes it's been me, bring it back to a board in a board workshop or an executive session, and we discuss their point of view. If there's a multiple group, and I don't mean 5 or 6, I mean a large number of people that are opposed to something that we have done, we'll take a look at it. You know, it's better to admit that you've made a mistake than to run around and thinking that you're right all the time and they can't be right. So I think what you do is you sit down and you listen, and then you try to get their point of view as well, and then act upon that decision.
Thank you, Larry. All right, next question. Oh, excuse me, I lost my spot. There we go. What do you believe is the most important role of an HOA board?
I think that this HOA, the board is to make sure that home values are maintained upward, that the appearance of Sweetgrass remains as elegant as it was the day we moved in. The safety of Sweetgrass must be a priority. And last but not least, I think that we need to continue developing, as I said earlier, the lifestyle portion of Sweetgrass. That's what we are. We're a lifestyle community. And we sort of get hung up on, oh, well, that's not for us. Well, it is if that's what you believe in. Nobody's forcing you to do it, but that's where we came from. That's where we need to keep going.
Thank you. Next question. How do you prioritize the needs of the community when resources are limited?
Been doing that ever since I got here, Stephen. Once again, with the Dave Ramsey program, we always say you have to make every dollar work for you. If every dollar is not working for you, then you have to sit and prioritize what needs to be done. Hurricane Beryl is the perfect example. People constantly wanted to know why can't we get this done? Why can't we do that? The priority was safety in that point. Yes, there was damage. Yes, there was damage that's got to be repaired. But the safety of the people visiting the lake house and guests visiting the lake house and using the pool or whatever is got to be a priority. And so if you set those priorities, and I'm a big goal person. I believe in what I call key events. Everything is done on goals, objectives, and key events. And I set them in my daily life. I get up every day and have key events. And so I believe that that's how you deal with the situation. If there's not enough money to go around, or enough people to go around, or enough tables to go around, or room space to go around, you have to work through it.
Thank you. Next question. What experience do you have with budgeting and financial management?
I managed the distribution for 66 divisions of a major corporation in my younger years. And also, I've done the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace Management Program. Not only did I do it, my wife and I took it and became debt-free through doing that. Our businesses were debt-free for 37 years. We look further than that to the point that I am involved in banking. I'm involved also in the development of new businesses. But my priority still is the development of Sweetgrass. I want Sweetgrass to be all it can be.
Thank you, Larry. Next question. How would you balance the need for maintenance and improvements with financial constraints of the community?
I think there's a big concern there, and it's one of my biggest concerns. We run into the situation where the budget is the budget. And I'm a believer that you don't break budgets. I believe, on the other hand, that you can move things around. You can move money. I'll give you an example. A few years back, we needed to get some equipment and things changed around. Well, our reserves are very strong. Matter of fact, when I came on board, our reserves were at $750,000. And my goal was to make them over $1 million to $1.25 million. We last year were at $1.7 million. Okay, when you have that kind of money, you can borrow from yourself, pay yourself the interest on the money, pay it back, and therefore you can do the maintenance needs to be done. And you can also take what on the financial side and do that which is proper. And that's to take care and manage every dollar to where it's working for you.
Thank you, Larry. All right, so now I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
You ready? All right, so what would be your takeaway? What do you want residents to remember or be your final thought about this interview?
I want interviews to know that the guy that they see wearing the t-shirt and the long hair, I admit it, I'm a child of the 60s. I listen to that music every day. But at the same time, I'll repeat what I said in the beginning. I really believe that we have got Sweetgrass rolling in a positive way, a way that will take us to the best Sweetgrass that we can think of, and maybe beyond what we can think of, maybe what we dream of. And I would like to let people know that I'm still a dreamer. I believe in that, and I believe that it can be done. There's nothing that's impossible. You just have to find a way to do it.
Well, thank you, Larry. I cannot thank you enough for taking some time out of your schedule today to join me. This has been great. You have yourself a great rest of your day, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.